Ligature marks on her neck, bruising on her inner thighs. Rape kit's been sealed and sent to your lab.
When will she be able to talk?
She's in a coma. Neurology's been called in to take a look.
So you don't know when?
Or if. She presented with an anoxic brain injury.
From the strangling?
Oh, that's one possibility.
What's the other?
An allergic reaction to Demerol. We found trace amounts of it in her blood.
Are you sure? Because we didn't find any pills in her place.
Well, how about a syringe?
Dr. Navarro, staff.
This bruise here, right in the middle, there's a needle mark. The Demerol was injected.
We were just talking the other day how hard it is to meet people. What hospital is she at?
Mercy.
Oh, I should get flowers.
She's in a coma.
Oh, well, if Cecilia wakes up and there's nobody there. Oh, this is so awful.
Is this her sister?
Yeah, Julie, her kid sister.
Any idea where we can find her?
Well, Cecilia said she passed away a few years ago.
Yes, you're right. I lied. I was stalling you so I could talk to my lawyer. I learned my lesson about dealing with you people.
What lesson's that? That we're as stupid as we look?
I've been through this circus before, when Julie disappeared.
That's where you learned to lie?
There, that's what I mean. You just twist everything.
I can. You don't have to get into it.
I'm okay. Just ask your question.
We just want to verify a few things. Now, you said you hadn't seen Ms. Knowles since you moved to the city?
Right.
Well, she told the detective in Queens that she ran into you about a month ago.
Okay, sure. On my lunch hour, it was in Midtown.
What'd you talk about?
Nothing. I tried to be polite and get away from her as fast as I could. She's still laboring under the delusion I killed Julie.
A lot of people had that delusion.
Next question.
We read the investigators' reports on Julie Gorham. The one thing everyone remarked on was your temper.
You trying to bait me?
Just stating the facts. You have a thin skin. That's why Julie was breaking up with you. That's why she came down to New York.
That's according to Cecilia. The truth is, we were making a fresh start. I had the hotel room ready. I had champagne, flowers. She never got to the hotel.
And that's according to you.
It's what happened.
They have a record of her getting on the plane, Ken. What, she jumped out over Poughkeepsie?
Damn it, I didn't kill her!
See? It still gets to you, doesn't it? You thought you had it all put behind you when you came down from Albany, and bang, you run into the big sister.
I got better things to do than worry about a crazy woman.
A guy like you, I don't think you'd just walk away from it. You wanted to reason with her, you know, have a little sit down, bury the hatchet.
There was no reasoning with her.
But you tried anyway, didn't you? You met up with her at the bar at the Swanson Hotel.
Maybe you didn't get the satisfaction you wanted. You went home, you stewed about it.
No!
Then you went to her place, you gave her some bull, and she let you in.
That's enough.
And you did to her just what you did to her sister, didn't you?
No! I never laid a hand on her!
Ken.
I know my rights. I know where I stand. I've talked to them as much as I have to. I'm leaving.
Next time you want to talk to him, you better bring a subpoena or a warrant.
We found one pubic hair that didn't belong to her. There's no root. You can forget about DNA.
Next time we'll take our bad news over the phone.
Well, there is some good news. 2 drops of seminal fluid on the top sheet. Very small drops.
Tadpoles in the fluid?
Well, enough for a DNA sample. There's also a drop on the carpeting next to the bed.
Yeah, drop here, drop there. The guy tried to clean up after himself?
No, there was spermicide in the fluid. More likely he used a condom than had some spill off when he removed it.
Let's start with this DWI in Albany, in Cecilia's neighborhood.
I was nowhere near her.
You were drunk. You might not remember.
I was not drunk. I take painkillers.
Scotch always killed my pain.
For my back, I take Demerol.
Demerol. Your fiancée is a doctor, is that right?
An oncologist. What does that have to do?
In her office, she keeps swabs, syringes, things like that.
Yes, of course. What are you writing?
You and your fiancé use condoms?
What the hell?
He's not going to answer that.
Isn't he curious as to why we're asking?
Yes, I am.
Whoever raped Cecilia used a condom, except some of his little guys got away from him, like on the rug, on the bed. That's why we took your blood, Taylor.
That doesn't concern me one bit.
We're giving you the straight dope.
Let's move on.
Sorry to interrupt. We have the blood test results, Mr. Taylor. Your DNA matches what we found at the scene.
Boo! Should have been a little more careful when you took off your party hat.
It's not possible.
OJ or no OJ, DNA don't lie, my man.
Would you like to make a statement at this time, Mr. Taylor?
It is not possible.
I'll take that as a no. Mr. Garnett, I've notified the DA's office. We're ready to take your client over for arraignment.
This can't be happening. Charles, do something!
Yeah, Counselor, why don't you click your heels 3 times and say there's no place like home?
The bartender at the Swanson told us you're there at least 3 nights a week. Ms. Knowles was there the night she was attacked. The night after you saw Ken Taylor.
I don't know, Ken.
Oh, I bet he remembers you. We put you in a lineup, even blindfolded, he'd pick you out. So the way to go here is nice and easy.
Okay. We go that way. What kind of charges?
Don't cooperate and you'll find out.
Cecilia approached me at the Swanson a couple of weeks before. I wasn't the first girl that she talked to. She told me that this guy, Taylor, had been bothering her and that she wanted to get something on him. She knew he called the escorts. She said she'd pay me to find out which service.
Is this something you've done before?
No. But I know girls who've done it. For wives, girlfriends. I called some bookers I knew. I got the information Cecilia wanted, and then she offered me more money to arrange to meet him.
And to get a semen sample?
Yeah. I made sure he used a condom, and I gave it to her the next day.
Did she say what she was gonna do with it?
She told me Taylor killed her sister. She said she was gonna make him pay for it.
She got wind he was moving to New York when his office sent a housing request to the travel division. It gave her time to sign a lease before he did.
So this harassment was a work of fiction?
Along with everything else. One of her co-workers at the travel agency takes Demerol. The only thing she didn't count on was the allergic reaction.
We told Mr. Taylor?
We told his lawyer.
Why, you got an innocent man who confessed to a crime he didn't commit? Maybe this job's getting too easy for you. I know.
I was going to say, I'll get started on the dismissal notice.
A man so self-absorbed, so arrogant. It never occurred to me he might be innocent.
Or that Cecilia Knowles might be so desperate.
After the girl was hurt, he said he called Mrs. Gaines to tell her that the girl was in trouble and, well, he wanted to take her to the hospital. The lady told him no. The lady told him they would all go to jail if anyone found out. Nick was scared. He did what she said. Nick didn't want the girl to die. That tore him up.
She told him not to go to the hospital. It's depraved indifference. Murder, too.
It'll be perjury, Jack. Mrs. Capetti had no idea Karen Gaines was involved until we told her.
We can't confirm or deny her testimony. I'm happy to take it at face value.
You practically put the words in her mouth. Now, Karen Gaines killed her son. She has every reason to lie.
And she's very good at it. I'm sure it's not the first time she's had to lie for her son.
I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Claire, I want 2 things. Justice for the dead and respect from the living. Mrs. Gaines has to answer for what she did.
At any cost? You're talking about suborning perjury.
Just between you and me and the lamppost, I have no intention of putting Mrs. Capetti on the stand. All I want to do is survive a motion to dismiss. As it is, unless we put the fear of God into Karen Gaines, she's going to walk. Have Curtis and Briscoe pick her up.
The people's latest murder charge rests solely on the testimony of Mrs. Capetti. It's double hearsay, Your Honor, and therefore inadmissible.
I admire your stamina, Mr. McCoy, but let me get this straight. You want Mrs. Capetti to tell us what her son told her the defendant told him?
I'd rather Nick Capetti told us himself. But the defendant made him unavailable by shooting him in the back.
Even if he was here, his testimony would still be hearsay.
Statements against penal interest, exception to hearsay. Even though Mrs. Gaines knew her daughter was dying, she told Mr. Capetti not to seek medical help.
According to Mrs. Capetti, and there's not a shred of evidence to support her statement. Can we even prove the call was made?
I don't have to. I have a pile of evidence on my desk to show that the defendant set in motion a reckless and callous chain of events. Letting her daughter die was just the final depraved act.
Now, I've heard enough. I'm going to let a jury decide if Mrs. Capetti is telling the truth. The hearsay exception applies. Her statements are admissible. Motion to dismiss is denied.
My client is prepared to plead to custodial interference, period.
Any felony. I hurt myself more shaving.
You're swinging without a net on murder, too. You think your star witness, Mrs. Capetti, will hold up on cross?
When the jury hears how your client paid a convicted rapist to kidnap her own daughter, they'll believe her capable of anything.
He never called me. How can you think for a minute that I would let my own child die? What kind of mother do you think I am? You don't know what I did for her. For 10 years, I stayed in a nightmare marriage just so she could have a real home. I fought for custody for her, but he had more money, more lawyers. He turned me into an addict and then used it against me. That bastard! He stole her away from me. He told her lies about me. He made her afraid of me. I loved her.
But you hated your husband more.
I never meant any of this to happen.
At most, her conduct was reckless. Man 2, tack on another year to the time she's already serving.
Man 1, she does 6 years and not one day of it in a halfway house.
What the hell? Hey, pull over to the curb, will you? No, back it up, back it up. Come on, back it up. Police, don't move. Raise your hands and turn around slowly.
What the hell are you doing, Luther?
She's sick. I was trying to revivitate her.
Yeah, well, you were wasting your breath. I'll call it in.
Yeah, she was a regular. Worked for the junk. We busted her a couple of times last year.
You get a name?
Wayne George. $50 a throw. It's amazing. They live as long as they do.
What's amazing to me is that they're still in business at all.
Who's in charge here?
I guess that would be me.
Heard it.
Wham, wham, wham. You remember about what time?
The local news just started, so it had to be about 10. I thought it was a truck backfiring, but then when I heard the sirens,
Get his vitals.
Luther here found the body. He was given CPR.
The Hamlet.
You mean the Heimlich?
What's a Heim?
It's right around the corner from the ham.
That too, then.
Was he carrying?
Everything he owns in the world. Nothing that would put 3 holes in anyone. I know the guy. He's harmless. All right, thanks. Okay. What do we got here?
3 shots from a 22 close range.
Any signs of rape?
We're talking about a working girl here.
Hey, Ray?
Crack pipe. I guess it would hold 50 bucks worth.
Of course, I used to take the edge off with a cigarette.
Hey, Lenny. Check this out. Gotta be a couple grand.
Must have been a busy night.
Oh, God. Look, I had a couple of drinks before I went downtown to meet with my business manager. I was a little early. I thought, who would it hurt?
Well, maybe we shouldn't get into that.
You married?
6 years.
And you've never thought about?
No. I haven't.
Well, I've been married for 12 years. I don't know. I had to I don't know, experiment.
Well, there are a lot safer ways to do that.
I love my wife. I just wanted something, you know, anonymous. Can we keep this quiet?
Oh, we'll see what we can do. Now, maybe you saw something in that alley?
I never got out of the car. I swear. I'll pay the fine, whatever. Oh, God.
You wouldn't believe the traffic. Excuse me. Julia Danforth.
Lenny Briscoe.
Detective Rey Curtis.
Is something wrong?
No, nothing at all, ma'am. As a matter of fact, we were just about to leave.
He told me all about it. You're wasting your time, Detective.
He told you?
Sure. He stopped for a pack of cigarettes, and you think he killed a prostitute? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Mrs. Danforth, about the money you withdrew.
What money?
You didn't take $2,000 out of the bank?
Oh, that. Sure. I bought some lamps and things at Columbus Circle Market.
Does your husband own a gun?
This is crazy. I don't have to...
No, you don't. Look, nobody really believes your husband was involved. We just want to eliminate him and move on. So if you show us the gun and it doesn't match, you'll never see us again, I promise.
Should be in the storage closet.
You mind?
I don't even know if the gun works. Mark and his father used to shoot targets together. But after his dad died, I don't even think I've seen it since we bought this place. I could have sworn. He must have stored it someplace else.
Dr. Mark Danforth? You're kidding. I know him. He's a prominent plastic surgeon.
You know him? You mean those aren't real?
My friend had a nose job.
So, a neighbor heard the gunshots around 10. That gives him plenty of time to get down to the village to meet his business manager by 10:30. And he took $2 grand out of the bank.
Did he say why?
He denies it. Says it was the wife.
And she backs him up, but I'm sure she's covering.
The ATM didn't have a camera?
He used the machine at the local market.
Oh, smart. What about the murder weapon?
He owns a gun, but he misplaced it.
And it gets better. Dr. Danforth had a Colt 22 registered in his name. Now, judging from the left twist on the bullets recovered from the victim's body, they probably came from a Colt.
Pick him up.
The doctor is in consultation.
The doctor's in trouble.
Oh, come on. When is this gonna stop?
It's just beginning, Doc.
Dr. Mark Danforth, you're under arrest for the murder of Gwen George. Sorry, man. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do say can.
I don't get it, Jack. Why all the secrecy?
We just have a few questions.
You already won the case. You had me schlep up.
It could be worth your while, Larry.
Dr. Danforth told the police that when he went to have dinner with his business manager, the first thing he did was call his wife. Do you know what she said to him?
Nothing. He talked to the machine. She told him later that she went to the movies.
That's interesting, because she told her partner she was at an estate auction. Then she told me she was home all night.
Yeah, so where are you going with this? You think Julia?
Fact is, we don't know.
But there may be a way to find out. Only you'll have to work with us.
Sentencing is next Tuesday. Do I have a choice? Wonder of wonders. Look what Mrs. Danforth found. The Colt 22 registered to my client.
I don't get it. The police searched the house thoroughly.
I remembered after we moved into the townhouse, we stored several cartons at my mother's in Mamaroneck. The gun was there. Go ahead, test it. You'll see Mark didn't shoot that girl.
So you went to your mother's house yesterday and found this?
That's right.
That's odd, Mrs. Danforth. Because according to this affidavit, signed by Detectives Briscoe and Curtis, you left your townhouse at 8 in the morning and visited 3 antique stores. You then went to your office on Madison, where you stayed until you went home at 6 p.m. After that, you didn't leave until you came here this morning.
What does it matter where I found it? Just test the ballistics.
I don't think we have to, Mrs. Danforth. We both know this gun killed Gwen George.
I'm telling you, Mark didn't.
No, but you did.
What the hell are you talking about?
Your wife wasn't at the movies, Doctor. She was on West 47 at the same time you were. She used this gun to kill Gwen George and to frame you. The money, the phone calls, everything.
That is crap. Come on!
Did you kill Gwen George, Doctor?
Of course not.
Well, the ballistics on this gun are gonna match. Now, if you didn't do it, who else could have? We can wait for ballistics, Mrs. Danforth.
You should understand.
Murder? I don't think so.
You conniving. How the hell could you?
Me? You can't keep it in your pants. And I'm supposed to smile and fix you breakfast and bounce around the bed with you once a week. No!
This girl, it was meaningless.
Well, how the hell do you think that makes me feel?
You're unhappy, so I should go to jail for the rest of my life.
I want you to hurt. Hurt as bad as I do. For the record, what was it that turned you on? Was it the cheap lipstick? The short skirt? Or just doing it in the back seat of the car? I married you, Mark. That's supposed to mean I can trust you.
She told us that she gave you money in the early 80s, after she was married.
6 months ago, Rita Levitan wrote a check for $500 to the Women's Community Garden.
We have a lot of contributors. We're a good cause.
You knew Rita Levitan was Susan Forrest. All we have to show is that she's talked to you one time since you've been on parole. You go back to jail for 6 more years.
Billy Goodwin just went to jail to protect Susan. I spent my first 2 years underground with her. We worked as waitresses in rat holes, panicking if we accidentally drove 2 miles over the speed limit. You don't think I'd go to jail to protect her, too?
Why? So she can go to White Glove garden parties in Westchester? The same day Susan gave you $500, she gave $2,000 to the Republican National Committee.
Republican National Committee? Pretty good cover for a radical on the run, don't you think?
What makes you think it's cover? Her checkbook reads like a who's who of conservative causes. Stuart Levitan has her involved in his politics now.
Have you ever been a fugitive, Mr. McCoy? You do what you have to do.
We can revoke her parole, but she's loyal.
Yep, Army buddies. What about Susan Forrest?
She's probably chartering a limo to take her home from Rikers.
You know, she lied about what happened. Throw it in her face, see if she flinches.
If she starts to say something useful, Kunstler will stick his handkerchief in her mouth.
No, he'll be too busy trying to figure out what you know and how you know it. Bill hates to be the one in the dark.
I trust you won't keep us long. My client has a date with a plastic tray.
For the next 25 years. We know what happened at the Nukon robbery, Miss Forrest.
So do I. The violence launched against the people of Vietnam finally redounded to the home front. A tragic confluence of events.
No. You warned Tom Rudisill that Officer Perella was coming. If it weren't for you, he'd still be alive today.
No, I just...
You tell a lovely tale there, Mr. McCoy. I'm sure if you had someone to tell it in court, we'd hear it there and not here.
You also bought the gun Rudisill used.
Gun sales leave a trace. I don't care if it's 23 years or 230 years. I'll find that trace and link you to the gun and send you to prison.
Don't waste your time. Tell them. He can't be prosecuted.
It was Billy Goodwin. He bought the guns.
Goodwin?
It was legal. It made him feel important, like he was doing something.
He was Opie?
Kunstler's right about Goodwin. The most he could be charged with is conspiracy. The statute of limitations on that ran out 18 years ago.
Not if we argue that his refusal to testify now is a continuation of the original conspiracy. Get an arrest warrant for the professor.
You think that argument will hold up?
No. But until we're laughed out of court, it increases the pressure.
On Goodwin? He's already gone to jail to protect Susan.
Which is why Margaret so admires him now.
Margaret practically spit in my face.
That was before she had a chance to think things over. Have her arrested, too. Miss Pauley.
I told you I'm not going to testify. I told you I'd go back to prison.
We can still pretend this never happened.
Let's go.
Have you seen tomorrow's paper?
Did I make the front page?
Susan did.
This is a trick. Susan wouldn't do that.
If you don't believe it, the officer can take you past Professor Goodwin's cell on the way to yours.
Why are you doing this to us? The real criminals killed 50,000 American boys and over 1 million Vietnamese, and they've never been in a courtroom.
Susan Forrest isn't one of you anymore. Do you really want to go to jail for her?
She says Billy bought the guns. If he got within 10 miles of a gun store, it was only because he wanted to be near Susan. He loved her. So did I.
Where was Susan Forrest during the robbery?
Susan was stationed outside the gate.
She was there the entire time?
Yes.
How do you know that?
She and I were on walkie-talkies. We were in touch the whole time.
Did Tom Rudisill have any warning that Officer Perella was approaching?
Yes. I honked the horn.
How did you know to do that?
Susan saw him.
And what did she tell you?
She said he was coming.
What were her exact words?
Pig at 3 o'clock.
Kunstler wants to meet as soon as possible.
Yeah. He wants to accept the plea bargain you offered before the trial.
It's off the table. Isn't it?
How much time in prison does the Den Mother of the Year require to be rehabilitated?
The policeman she shot could have been your father.
She didn't shoot anybody.
What she said to Margaret.
We knew she was there when we made the original offer. How much more guilty does her choice of language make her?
It impressed the jury.
Up to you.
The offer was manslaughter 1. We'll accept manslaughter 2.
Mr. McCoy, I couldn't tell anybody what I did. I was ashamed. And all these years, I am so sorry.
The offer was man 1. 8 1/3 to 25.
Deal.
Deal.
Hey, big guy. It's Pop. Home from the wars. Lila, is he all right?
He was fine when I put him down.
I could barely feel him breathing. Evan? Evan? He feels cold. I've got a cab waiting. Doctor, what's happening with my baby?
I'm sorry, sir. We're still working on him. It'll be just a few minutes.
Well, can't I be in there with him? He knows me.
He's not conscious. Just give me a minute.
Any ICU nurse for labor and delivery? Any ICU nurse for labor and delivery?
Baby's dead.
You haven't told him?
I wanted to tell you first. When the father carried him in, he was unresponsive, poor perfusion, bradycardic. We intubated and found heavy secretions in his mouth. His pupils were pinpoint, 1 millimeter.
Poison. And it wasn't from getting into the cleaning supplies?
He's too young to crawl. He didn't go to the poison came to him. And now I get to tell that man his child is dead.
And we get to ask him who did it.
Evan just had a checkup on Monday. The pediatrician said he was fine. 75th percentile in height and weight.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Carmel. But we have to ask you about what your baby ate today.
I don't know. I was in Boston. Well, what the hell did he eat, Lila?
Just what he eats every day.
You're the babysitter, Miss Crenshaw?
Au pair, I live in, like...
Wendy?
Warren, where is he? What? Where is he? I want to see him.
He died.
No. No, I want to see him.
Ray. Miss Crenshaw, what did Evan eat today?
Mrs. Carmel gave him a bottle in the morning and some strained fruit.
A bottle of what? And what kind of fruit?
A formula, Matrilac, plums, baby's best. He won't eat the other brands. I gave him another bottle later on and the rest of the jar of plums right before his nap.
The jar was just sitting around?
In the refrigerator. The cap was on tight and the button popped in the morning. I saw Mrs. Carmel open it.
How did Evan seem when you placed him in the crib?
Fine. I had the monitor on. Didn't hear anything unusual. This is so awful.
Do you have any idea what happened to Evan? Was it the food?
Or something in the food. He might have been poisoned.
Who would poison an infant? It's crazy.
Well, what do you think? Was anybody acting crazy around him?
Well, my husband's ex wasn't exactly thrilled with the divorce, the remarriage or the new family.
I was thrown aside like a sack of garbage after 24 years. I was a little upset.
Maybe you were still a little upset. You called Mrs. Carmel and told her you'd kill her.
I'm Mrs. Carmel.
Hey, Mom.
This is Ben, my son, Warren's son. He's a policeman, dear.
How you doing? We were just talking to your mother about your brother.
Half-brother.
Yeah, it's terrible. Dad's real upset.
You keep in touch with your dad?
I see him once in a while.
It's a whole other story. Warren's in Chapter 2. He'd like Chapter 1 to disappear completely. It doesn't work that way.
Well, what do you want from him? He works hard.
Well, he also has responsibilities.
Mrs. Carmel, were you at your ex-husband's house the day Evan died?
How would I get in? They don't invite me over much.
Ben, you go to visit, huh? You got a key?
Yeah, why?
You ever borrow that key, Mrs. Carmel?
What are you saying? Maybe my mom killed Evan?
Your mom seems pretty upset.
Yeah, well, she never even went over there. You ought to be talking to Lila.
The au pair girl?
Damn right. Didn't they tell you about the other time she poisoned him?
Like the doctor told you, it wasn't poison, it was an accident. I didn't kill Evan. Why can't you believe me?
I'd like nothing better, Miss Crenshaw. But the poison didn't drop out of the sky into those plums. Was there anybody else in the house that day?
No. But I took Evan for a walk around at midday.
So you're saying somebody could have come in while you were out?
Yes, exactly.
Like who, Mr. and Mrs. Carmel?
Well, no, they were away.
All right, who else?
Olivia, the housekeeper. She comes on Thursdays. She has a key.
When you were feeding the baby, why didn't you notice the plums smelled funny?
I wouldn't notice things like that. I think baby food's revolting.
How about when you put him to bed? You didn't notice he was crying?
Yes, but he always cries. He has colic. If you let him fuss a while, he goes to sleep.
And how long did you listen to him fuss on the baby monitor?
I'm not sure.
Did you even have it on?
Yes, of course. There's a speaker in the kitchen and in my room.
Oh, so you heard him vomit?
I thought he was spitting up.
Well, how could you be so sure? How could you not check on
I
him?
am not his mother. I came here to be an art student, not a bloody wet nurse. Look, I did the best I could. I swear I did.
I've got a diary. 5 months until I can go home. I can hardly stand 5 more minutes. I just wish I could run away. The way they spoil this mewling child, it's repulsive. Let him clean his dirty nappies just once, then see how much they love their precious little bundle.
Little bitch. Hey, Lenny, we've got chlorine, sulfur, trifluorine, ammonium sulfate, and nicotine.
And I guess the skull and crossbones means it's not quite fit for human consumption.
Looks like a receipt. Cash purchase, day before the baby died.
Call the station. Tell them they got a keeper.
Madam Foreperson, you have had 3 additional days to deliberate upon this charge. Has anything changed since we last spoke?
No, Your Honor.
So in your opinion, additional time would be fruitless?
Unfortunately, yes.
Then I find this jury hopelessly deadlocked and incapable of rendering a verdict. I declare a mistrial. The attorneys will appear 2 weeks hence to discuss a new trial date. The defendant's bail will be continued.
Is there something wrong, Ben?
I know if I say anything, that lawyer's just gonna make it look like I'm responsible.
Okay, tell me. If we don't have to bring it up, we won't.
I knew she had that plant stuff. I saw it in her room. I had no idea what she was gonna do with it.
When, if ever, did you see Miss Crenshaw use pesticide on her plants?
I never saw her actually use it, but I did see it in her room.
Thank you. No more questions. You owe me.
You loved your brother, didn't you?
Sure.
So it must have occurred to you that telling a little lie might help the prosecution convict Lila Crenshaw.
I'm not lying.
Okay, maybe exaggerating a little.
Everything I said is exactly what happened.
Good. Now that we've got that out of the way, where were you the day Evan died?
In school.
And if we check the school records, that's what we'd find?
Yeah.
Good. Because my assistant is on the telephone with the school right now.
Okay, look. Maybe I ditched a few classes.
And do you have a key to your dad's house?
What's going on?
Please answer the question.
Yeah.
And were you in the house the day Evan died?
No!
Let's review, okay? We've already established that you're telling the truth. We've also established that the last time you were in the house was...
A week before.
Yes. That's right. But here's the confusing part. You saw the damn pesticide. What's the paper I just handed you, Ben?
Looks like a receipt for the pesticide.
And when is it dated?
March 31st.
The day before your brother died. Let's probe further, shall we? When you ditched school, where did you go?
Met game.
Hey, opening day. I was there too. With my son. Who'd you go with?
Friends.
What are their names?
I don't know.
You guys must be tight. Where did you sit?
Sorry. Sorry.
Before we go any further, son, I just want you to know you are entitled to speak with a lawyer.
What's the lawyer gonna do?
You weren't at the game, were you?
You went to your dad's house.
We were supposed to go to the game. We went every year.
You killed Evan because your dad forgot?
Because he forgot everything.
The Germans just moved into Poland, and things became very difficult.
Difficult?
For the Jews. My father owned a small trucking company. He came to work one day to find all his trucks burned and the windows of our garage broken. Unfortunately, most of the Poles didn't need much encouragement to hate us. That night, Grimaldi showed up.
And he talked to your father?
He told my father that Jews are being killed in Germany. It's just a matter of time for all of us. Then he showed my father a picture of women and children in a ditch, shot. Then he offered to sell my father insurance. Of course, he bought.
And you're sure this was Pietro Grimaldi?
My father made us memorize Grimaldi's name, and he told us where to go if something should happen.
And what happened to your family, Mr. Ratzenauer?
Hitler happened. And when it was over, I could only find my sister. She was very sick. I was 17, and we were alone.
And what did you do?
We walked over a year. I carried her most of the time to Italy, to where my father told me Grimaldi should be.
And did you find him?
Yes, I asked him for our money. I told him without it, my sister would die.
And what did he say?
He said he doesn't remember my father. He has no record of any policy. And without a death certificate, I don't have even proof that my father is dead. The Nazis did not give any death certificates. I have only one. From Italy, from my sister.
Can I talk to you? You shouldn't do that without your lawyer, Mr. Bresler.
I am a lawyer, Mr. McCoy. I know what I'm doing.
You won't be able to change your mind.
I just watched someone's son ruin his life over the shame of his father's acts. I have a son myself. I found out what we'd done in '92. Hamilton Stewart had been the director of All Atlantic's European operations during the war. He just read something about a Jewish family suing a Swiss bank and its director. He was afraid something like that could happen to us. He wanted to know what our liability was.
You mean his liability?
Yes.
What did you tell him?
That both he and the company had considerable exposure.
If those policies could ever be proven to exist.
Enter the book.
When Peter got the subpoena, he called Stewart. Told him he was going to turn the book over to the Italians unless he was paid $2 million.
Why not pay?
There's no way to hide a payment like that. That's when the decision was made to obtain the book.
You mean steal it?
I was told to tell Peter we had the money and that he should bring the book to my office. Burton would be waiting for him when he came out of the bank.
Where's the book now?
Burton gave it to me, and I gave it to Hamilton Stewart. I know what I did was a terrible thing.
Your day of reckoning isn't today. Put Stewart in jail.
At no time did I ever order anyone to participate in a robbery. Nor did I ever try to purchase any book.
And the testimony we heard from Alan Bressler that you did
Complete fabrication.
So you also deny any effort by you or your company to prevent Holocaust victims from collecting on their legitimate insurance policy?
Of course I do. Our hearts go out to any victim of war. But All Atlantic is a publicly traded company. And as such, it has an obligation to its shareholders. I simply can't turn it into a charity when it suits us.
Thank you, sir.
Did your hearts also go out to them when your subsidiary was selling them life insurance, knowing they had no chance of ever collecting?
That was never done.
Wasn't it? In 1932, Federale Insurance was writing about $1 million a year in life insurance. By 1942, that number increased 10 times over. How do you suppose that happened, Mr. Stewart?
You're talking about a long time ago.
Don't tell us you've forgotten the details that made your career at All Atlantic. You were able to sell those policies because of the persecution of Jewish families. Isn't that what happened?
I didn't know anything about that.
Didn't know? You were All Atlantic's director for Eastern European operations in 1938, weren't you?
Yes.
And Federale and its salesmen were reporting directly to you, weren't they?
There were rumors. That's all. Unsubstantiated rumors.
The numbers don't lie, Mr. Stewart. Are you telling us that you suspected nothing?
You make it sound like we were the only ones. We weren't. American car companies, banks, airplane manufacturers, we were all doing business with Germany. My God, our own State Department refused entry to these people based on the same information we had. It was just business.
Yes, good business. So good, you rewarded Peter Grimaldi with a job at the parent company the minute he stepped off the boat, didn't you?
Peter had produced for us in Europe.
Pretty risky proposition for an insurance company to sell life insurance during wartime, isn't it, Mr. Stewart?
I suppose.
Because war raises the risk of death, isn't that right?
Yes.
And death is certainly not good business for a life insurance company, is it?
No.
But All Atlantic couldn't sell policies fast enough, could it? Because you knew the people you were selling to had no hope of ever collecting. No hope of ever presenting a death certificate.
Objection.
Maybe they should have brought their parents' ashes in a bag to you.
Mr. McCoy.
Millions of dollars being made in the sale of life insurance. And yet, after over 50 years, not a single policy ever paid. What do you suppose happened to all those people, Mr. Stewart?
I have no idea.
Don't tell us you didn't know. The fact of the matter is you counted on it.
We had a storybook life. David was a doctor, a surgeon. He put Wendy on a horse when she was 8 years old. Every year, she won her age group. She had lots of friends. She liked school.
Well, sorry to say it, Mrs. Berman, but kids don't usually run away from perfection.
When she was 13, we sent her to equestrian camp for the summer. On July 17th, David had a heart attack, jogging around the reservoir in Central Park. He was dead before the paramedics arrived. The following year, Wendy spent with psychiatrists. And the promiscuity started, and the drugs. And she ran away, but she always came back in a few days.
One day, she just didn't come back at all.
Last year, I got a letter. She said she was all right, but something terrible would happen if I tried to contact her.
If we could see that letter.
I'd like it back if that's okay.
And the fifth angel sounded the trumpet, and I saw a star fall from heaven upon the earth. And there was given to him the key of the bottomless pit. Shrinks did a hell of a job.
What is it, she joined a convent?
Get this. Return address 476 Avenue, bearing the initial of our Lord into the new kingdom.
Great. This time of day, it's going to take us an hour to get downtown.
Since when do you have a road map to heaven?
I don't, but I've been up and down Avenue C.
C for Christ.
Thank you, God, for the delivery of the Savior from the servant. Thank you, God, for the cleansing of our sins and the enlightenment of our souls. We are the lambs of that you have put among us. He will lead us through the valley.
From the Cherusian temple 7 years ago. The people that come to me are in search of something, although most of them don't know what it is.
But you do.
We're all ultimately in search of the same thing, Detective.
What about this girl? How is her search progressing?
She was extremely troubled.
So you knew her?
I found Ruth maybe a year ago. She was on the corner of 12th Street selling her body for a vial of crack. A little prayer, some real food. I thought she was back on the right path.
But she zigged when she should have zagged.
She disappeared several months ago.
You called her Ruth. Her mom called her Wendy.
She was trying to forget her past life. Can you blame her? Most of these kids, they're stray kittens. All they really need is someone to care about them. Someone to pay a little attention when they cry out.
Yeah, or a little jail time.
It's amazing that some of them have survived. Dysfunctional families, drugs, abuse. I won't lie to you, we don't always succeed. But more often than not, I think we're able to turn their lives around.
Daniel Hendricks was young, charismatic, knew the scriptures backwards and forward. By himself, he expanded our congregation by 50%.
Sounds like a guy you'd want to keep around.
He was also crazy, and became crazier when the membership chose me as their president.
Did he ever threaten you?
One Sunday, he stood on the pulpit screaming that we would all die in a lake of fire.
Yeah, well, he's got his own pulpit now.
Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Yeah, but his congregation seems to think he's the real thing.
The real thing doesn't ask you to donate all the money you could steal from your parents. I wouldn't call what he has a congregation. I'd call it a cult.
One of these days, maybe he'll stop trying to save the world. Get married, raise a family.
Any prospects?
One of those kids that hangs around his church. Pretty girl. Ruth something or other.
Is this her?
Well, she was older. But yeah.
When was the last time he saw her?
Maybe a month ago. She and Danny came for dinner.
Being a fanatic's not against the law.
His girlfriend had ammonium nitrate under her nails. They bought the diesel fuel together.
It doesn't mean he knew what she was going to do with it.
The girl liked to ride horses. What does she know about explosives? Hendricks spent 4 years blowing up things for the army.
You have a motive?
Who knows, maybe he saw a burning bush. Look, he lied about seeing the girl. We can get the entire congregation from his old church to swear he's a nut job. We're talking arson and felony murder.
There was a great explosion, and the person responsible for it is dead. Wendy Berman caused her own death. The case should be closed. But the folks at the DA's office have a hard time sleeping when they think someone is murdered and there's no one left to put in jail. So they racked their brains and they came up with my client. He kidnapped poor Wendy. She died while under his control. He's responsible. But what exactly did he do? He didn't lock Wendy in a closet. He didn't tie her to a chair. No. He made her give up drugs. He made her give up crime. My God, he actually made her read the Bible. And that, according to Mr. Stone, is brainwashing, and the son of a bitch should rot in jail. 200 years ago, this kind of thing went on all the time. That's why we loaded up the ships, sailed the seas, and set up shop here.
Beware of the false prophet. In the last century, he rode on horse-drawn wagon and he sold snake oil. And in the 70s, he carried a briefcase and a calculator and he sold real estate in Florida. But Mr. Hendricks, he doesn't sell snake oil or real estate. He sells death and he sells destruction. He doesn't call it that. He bottles it as the apocalypse. And Wendy Berman bought it. The perfect victim for a charlatan, a con man, a grifter. And it's interesting that he chose to camouflage his scam in religion. That's the genius of it, see? If you proclaim from the pulpit and quote from the good book, it is an almost inescapable trap for the innocent and the vulnerable. And Wendy Berman came to that with her need. And Mr. Hendricks gave her the hope. But the hope he gave her was a ruse to get her to do what he wanted her to, which was murder. But in the end, it was Wendy Berman that was killed.
On the first count of the indictment, kidnapping in the first degree, how do you find?
We find the defendant guilty.
On the second count, murder in the second degree, how do you find?
Guilty.
Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do.
My dad. Did you find him?
We called his office this morning. He didn't show up.
My God. They killed him too.
Jenna, tell me, do you remember anything about last night?
I was sleeping.
The door to the house, do you remember if it was locked?
I came home from the Red Onion around 11 o'clock. I'm sure I locked it. Why would anyone do this to us?
We found a jewelry box on the floor in the hall closet. It was empty.
My mother's jewelry. Please find my dad. You have to find him.
Next month would have been 18 years. I can't believe this. Billy. He was only 10. Please, I've got to go see Jenna.
We understand, Mr. Weber. We just need to ask you a few questions first. We found an empty jewelry box in your closet floor.
That's right. It was Joyce's. 2 necklaces and a bracelet.
How long you been drinking, Mr. Weber?
Excuse me?
Your eyes, the hands. Many's the morning I've had a head like that.
Look, it's not like I'm a drunk or anything. I just got carried away last night.
All night?
Oh, God. Look, all I know is I woke up in some diner on 3rd Avenue near the Parthenon.
And before that?
I started at Cabrini's after work. And then some bar on 2nd Avenue near 76th. And then I had to pick last night.
You own a gun, Mr. Weber?
Of course not. You think I had something to do with this?
Why don't you finish your coffee? You need it.
Motive just got better. Weber filed a claim on his wife's insurance 2 days after she died. $500,000.
If it was about the insurance money, he wouldn't have gone after the kids.
He was desperate. Who knows what was going through his head?
It's all circumstantial. I need something a little more tangible.
Circumstantial's good enough for a search.
Mr. Weber is expected from lunch shortly. You could have waited for him.
Hey, the sooner we finish, the sooner we get to eat.
Hey, Lenny. You think he wears these?
Whoa.
What do you want now?
Now? Well, now you're under arrest for the murders of William and Joyce Weber and the attempted murder of Jenna Weber. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do say can or will.
You were so drunk you can't remember where you were, yet you're sure you never went home.
I never wanted my children to see me like that.
If they had, you'd have to kill them.
Objection. Sustained.
The jewelry that was supposed to be in a box in your closet was actually in your office. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Did you ever tell that to the police?
I was gonna sell it. We need the money. I was embarrassed.
So you staged a robbery?
No.
You must have been pretty desperate, Mr. Weber. The breadwinner in the family suddenly coming home with no money must have been humiliating. But now you don't have that problem. Your wife and your son will never know that you couldn't cut it in business. They'll never know that you were going to sell your house. Actually, you did them a favor. Isn't that right?
No. I didn't kill them. I would never kill them.
Damn, Jack. Even I felt sorry for him.
But now you see him as a murderer, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
And I suppose the jury will too.
Jack.
I owe you.
Well, maybe not.
Were we sitting in the same courtroom? He sure as hell looked guilty to me.
To me, too, and that's the problem. You were all over him, Jack. He should have broken down.
But he did.
No, I mean, he should have confessed under that much pressure. That's the typical response for a family annihilator.
Why the hell didn't you tell me this before?
Because you told me he would never take the stand.
So you're changing your opinion?
I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just qualifying my opinion. Look, Jack, I told you I was on shaky ground at the start of this.
Chester Manning is not the most upstanding citizen I've come across. Add that to Olivet's new position, makes you wonder.
Then who did it? Let's say it was the boyfriend. Why would Jenna still protect him?
She's a kid. She knows her father's innocent, and she believes the system will ultimately work. She loves Chester.
He shot her, too.
Or she's feeling very guilty. The house wasn't tossed, was it? So how did Chester know where to find the jewelry?
You're saying Jenna told him?
Why not? And when the jewelry wasn't there, he went crazy. She feels responsible for the deaths of her mother and her brother. She can't bring herself to admit it.
This is unbelievable.
Think about it, Ron. Who else could have gotten into the house? Who else could have known where the jewelry was?
I would have given her money. She didn't have to rob her own house.
You didn't have any money, remember?
We had enough. She had everything she wanted.
But did Chester Manning?
Let's get it over with. What can you do for me?
2 counts of man 1, served consecutively.
What's going on?
How many years is that?
30.
But he didn't do anything.
That's not the way the jury's gonna see it, Jenna. This is the best thing.
No, you can't do this.
You have a deal, Mr. McCoy.
Stop.
If you know something, Jenna, you better tell us now.
Okay, fine. Let's wrap this up.
No, wait. It's my fault. He didn't do anything.
Who was it?
I told him where my mother hid her jewelry.
Who?
Chester.
Okay, and then what happened?
He got mad when it wasn't there. He was stoned out of his head. I didn't know he was gonna shoot everyone.
Okay, we got what we wanted, Jack. The deal's still in place. Jenna serves no time.
What's going on?
It's okay. Chester used you. It's not your fault.
You'll have my motion to dismiss first thing in the morning. Thanks, Claire.
One more question, Jenna. Why didn't you just take the jewelry yourself? Obviously, you still thought it was in the closet. Why wouldn't that have been easier than getting Chester involved? Please answer my question, Miss Weber. Chester wasn't there for the jewelry, was he? He was there to murder your mother, and you knew about it.
No.
This wasn't a robbery at all. You wanted your mother dead. You hired Chester Manning. The jewelry was just supposed to be his payment. The police have already picked up your boyfriend. I have a feeling he's not the type to stick his neck out for you.
I can't believe you wanted your mother dead.
Peterson just dreams up these coins he supposedly owns?
Or uses a crib sheet. This is the catalog from the 31 auction where Sandler's father bought his gold Cleopatras. It's on page 3. This is the list of Peterson's coins that were supposedly in Campbell's safe.
I thought we were finished, Jack. The charge was dropped.
Dropped by us.
Huh?
We can bring it again.
Why?
I still have evidence placing Mr. Peterson at the scene. Maybe he and Miss Sandler committed the murder together.
Well, that's ridiculous. I never saw the woman until today.
Then why did you cover for her?
What?
The day Stephen Campbell was killed, she called you to complain about him. You never mentioned it to the police.
Thought she was a nut.
Why do you think you didn't tell the police, Miss Sandler?
Who cares what I didn't do? She killed Stephen and took my coins.
Then why doesn't she have them?
Well, just because you can't find them doesn't mean she doesn't have them.
Is that right, Miss Sandler? Do you have your father's coins?
No, I don't.
Where did you buy those coins, Mr. Peterson?
From a collector in Austria. He must have gotten them from that Swiss bank.
And the rest of your special collection?
Various sales.
Jack, what's this all about?
A miracle, Danielle. Have you seen this auction catalog?
No.
Where did you get that?
From your mother. In 1931, 20 auction lots were sold to 20 different buyers scattered all over Europe. What do you think the odds are of reassembling all those lots 65 years later in a single collection?
May I see that?
Yes, of course.
1,000,000 to 1, Mr. Peterson? 1,000,000,000 to 1?
He said he had all of these coins?
This is his insurance inventory.
Thank you.
It was all a lie. You never had my father's coins.
That would make you guilty of fraud, wouldn't it, Mr. Peterson?
That's why Campbell wouldn't show them to me. He was lying for you. Oh, God.
just an old auction catalog. I found it at the library. Never meant for anyone to get hurt.
You bastard!
Misdemeanor fraud, Jack?
I'll talk to the U.S. attorney if he tells the truth.
She was calling me, calling Stephen. We were afraid she'd raise a public stink and I'd be exposed. We were going to meet her that night and try to buy her off. When I got there, Stephen was dead. I didn't want you to find her. I didn't want to lose everything.
Judith. What does it matter? I killed a man for nothing.
Name's Ken Schofield. License from Amarillo, Texas. $100 in his pocket, half his head blown off. Looks like he had company in the car.
So you got any prints?
More than that.
Oh, maybe he got a little too fresh, huh?
You Briscoe and Logan?
Yeah.
Station just radioed in. Someone picked up a half-naked girl trying to hail a cab. Hope she didn't catch a cold.
I didn't even really know him. We just met that night at a club, the Garage.
Looks like you became fast friends.
He bought me a couple of drinks. He seemed like a nice guy. He's a model. My magazine had done some work with his agency.
Didn't you think you might be more comfortable back at his place?
He said that he lived in Greenwich. I had to be up early for work. I couldn't drive all the way to Connecticut. I have a roommate. We couldn't go there. We just wanted to see the sunrise.
That sounds romantic. So, then what happened? He got a little too friendly?
Wait, you don't think that I... No way.
Why don't you just tell us what happened?
We were in the car, and some lunatic was staring at us. So Ken told him to get the hell out of there. And the next thing I know, the guy pulls out a gun, and...
All right. We're gonna have you talk to someone who's gonna make a composite of this guy, okay?
Yeah, sure. One thing, the guy wore glasses. Thick glasses with black frames.
Let me ask you something. Why didn't you call the police?
I never thought that... I don't know. Some nut just killed Ken right in front of me, and I got scared, you know? I ran.
There's a Scott Hexter in interrogation 1. A traffic cop from the 2-2 stopped him from skipping a red light.
Should this interest us?
Mr. Hexter drives a brown Chevy. Seems he has 12 outstanding parking tickets.
Please tell me he wears thick black glasses.
My guess, he can't see the big E at the top of the chart.
Scott's a good guy, I'm telling you. Ties his bags, never makes noise.
Changes his underwear once a week.
Well, the troublemakers are the pair upstairs. Them and the damn dog.
A landlord's dream. Perfect tenant.
At least he's not a health nut.
Oh, yeah. But he does take care of himself.
That's a 22. Schofield was shot with a 44.
Well, maybe he uses this one for practice.
I can't tell. It was dark.
You want a closer look at any of them?
Number 2.
Number 2, step forward.
How about number 4?
Number 4, step forward.
No, it's number 2.
Thank you, Miss Templeton.
Goose eggs, counselor.
You're forgetting Mr. Santana.
Maybe. Even if my client was in his deli last week, boosting your cholesterol isn't a crime.
He had a gun.
It was licensed. Besides, it was the wrong caliber. You've got the wrong guy, fellas.
There's still the 12 unpaid parking tickets.
You're kidding, right? No wonder the city's going bankrupt. We'll be in touch.
No witnesses, no weapon. We couldn't even get past a grand jury with this.
Want to come out of there, Scotty?
What now? I forget to pay my toll on the Tribro?
We don't give out tickets for shooting people, Scott. Would you put down the shears?
Scott Hexter, you're under arrest for the murder of Ken Schofield. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that? You have a right to an attorney.
My God, Scott.
Don't worry, we'll water him once a day.
At no cost.
Can't his lawyer get through to him?
His lawyer can't even turn off the tap. We were walking Hexter back to his cell, and he was still crying.
Any chance he could be telling the truth?
Hey, he knows where the door is. All he has to do is give us an alibi.
This guy's a box of Fruit Loops. 1 minute he's pruning the flowers in the garden, the next minute he's playing with Daddy's guns in the bedroom.
Just for drill, run down all the open files with similar MOs for the past year. Maybe we can tie some of those to Mr. Hexter.
Richard Gill, 24, body found in Corona, shot with a .38. Assailant unknown.
Yeah, Scotty shoots a .44.
Maybe the gun was in the shop.
Here, Tercel Johnson, 18, found in his car near Highbridge Park. Popped twice in the head with a .357.
What, Scotty comes to Harlem?
I'll mark it as a possible.
We got shootings with various calibers. In the car, out of the car, uptown, downtown.
But nothing that matches Hexter's preferred mode of self-expression.
Know why that doesn't surprise me? Motor vehicles sent this down. Report on a hit and run last night in Riverdale. Tan Chevys, same plate as Hexter's, 10 minutes after Schofield was killed.
Is it possible he was in both places?
Sure, with a pair of wings and a good tailwind.
Otherwise, you need at least 15 minutes to get up to Riverdale.
What are we saying here? The wrong man sitting in Rikers?
Or somebody got the plate numbers mixed up on the hit and run.
Look, the car was in Forest Park. He fits all the composites. He's got the glasses. What are the odds? He's got to be the shooter.
Or the unluckiest man alive.
I'm innocent, but no matter what I say, you're gonna get me.
Mr. Hexter, that's not true.
Then what am I doing here? Why does he want me to plead guilty? I don't understand what's going on.
If you could account for your whereabouts.
I told the police I was at the movies. I was nowhere near Forest Park.
And last night, your car was seen in Riverdale.
I went for a ride. I was by myself. I was just driving.
I'm sure that your lawyer has explained to you the value of an uncorroborated alibi.
Scott, I can't help you if you keep lying.
I am so sick of this. Why can't you just believe me? I didn't kill anybody.
My son wouldn't hurt a soul. He's not that kind of boy.
The police say he was in the area when the Queen's boy was shot. They have his parking ticket.
That wasn't Scotty. I got that ticket.
It was his car.
St. Mary's was having a food drive for the homeless. I needed Scotty's car to bring the canned goods I collected.
Well, your son didn't tell us.
He didn't know. He was in the city. I simply paid the ticket. I still don't understand how the police could think he murdered anyone.
Scott refused to give us an alibi for last night. If he has one, why wouldn't he tell us? Mrs. Hexter?
He has a friend in the city. He doesn't think I know. My husband would have thrown him out of the house. I think I can find the name.
Last night we had takeout Chinese at Scotty's. He worries someone might see us holding hands.
So after you read each other's fortune cookies, what was on the menu then?
A quiet evening on the couch and a couple bottles of wine. Life is a Cabernet.
Did you spend the night, Julian?
Scotty wouldn't let me. I tried taking a taxi at 2. Scotty ended up driving me home.
And where's home?
Riverdale.
We got a report on a hit and run.
That's what this is about?
Maybe.
There was ice on the street, and Scotty bumped into a parked car. I guess he'd had a little too much to drink. I told him he should leave a note on the car.
That would have saved us a lot of trouble.
How you doing, Zelda?
Detective Mike. Come and sit down next to Zelda. You had those yearnings, so you got everybody out looking for me.
No, this is business. It's about the guy with glasses.
I've been keeping an eye out, but I ain't seen him.
Yeah, I got a picture I want you to see.
Who's this?
Well, you tell us.
He's not Mr. Peepers. He's too young. And the face is too chubby. This one looks like a mama's boy.
I'll call Ben Stone.
Ray, what happened to number 484-1935? Yeah, him. I got a couple of suits getting pissy out here. Okay. They got him at the infirmary, gentlemen. Through that door.
We're looking for prisoner Scott Hexter.
He's inside.
Scott Hexter.
He was eating dinner. Somebody stabbed him with a sharpened toothbrush. Took his bologna sandwich.
She'll call us in when she's ready.
We're already paying $30 for a 50-minute hour.
You just don't want to be here.
How'd you figure that out?
You're supposed to be doing this for yourself.
What, so some shrink can tell me I'm a pig? I know I'm a pig, like most guys. Look, women want everything from one guy. Guys want one thing from a lot of women. It's human nature.
You're right, we're wasting our time. Dr. Burke? Dr. Burke? Eric! Eric!
She's got scratches on her arm, a bruise on her neck. She went a couple of rounds before she was counted out.
What time was that?
8 to 12 hours ago. Single stab wound to the chest. We're still looking for the weapon.
I don't see a purse.
It's in the desk drawer, along with her wallet, $78 and a half dozen credit cards.
Make sure she gets a rape kit.
Right.
Look at this. Love letters. Dear Molly, signed Gary, dated 16 years ago.
Well, we look at their state of mind when they got married. If they lacked due discretion of judgment.
Meaning what?
Well, if they, bride or groom had a screw loose or their fingers crossed when they said their I do's, it's ground for annulment.
Dr. Burke was supposed to have read their minds 16 years back.
Right. The Kilpatricks in happier times. Pretty hair, huh?
Pretty fire red hair.
Say hello to the blasphemous whore with the crown of fire.
I had some concerns about the annulment evaluation.
Concerns?
Questions. Why?
She was murdered Tuesday night in her office.
You think I killed her?
We're talking to everybody who had business with her. Where were you Tuesday night?
Here. With my son, Billy.
Any argument you had with Dr. Burke?
No, it wasn't an argument.
But you were upset about the annulment.
I was upset at my husband. He wants the church to wave a wand and pretend our marriage never happened. To turn our son into a bastard.
He wanted you to roll over so he could remarry.
Uh-huh.
And if Dr. Burke said so, he'd get his annulment, wouldn't he?
Mrs. Kilpatrick, did Dr. Burke tell you what she was going to recommend?
I think I've said everything I want to say. I'd like you to leave, please.
I don't know what she told my ex-wife.
I spoke to Dr. Burke on Monday. I got the impression things were going our way.
Was Burke going to recommend for the annulment?
Well, she didn't come right out and say so. But as Gary's attorney, I was reasonably optimistic.
And did you share your optimism with Mrs. Kilpatrick?
I may have mentioned it to her attorney. By the way, did you find the evaluation?
The Archdiocese said she was still working on it. You in a hurry to take another walk down the aisle?
My fiancée is a devout Catholic. I don't want this thing to drag out.
I don't see a strong case here.
I don't see a case here at all. Nothing specifically contradicts her alibi, and nothing directly connects her to the crime.
So far, carpet fibers from the victim's office have turned up at her house, and hair matching hers was found at the crime scene.
All of which can be explained innocently.
All we need is a speck of blood where it doesn't belong.
I didn't kill her. Why don't you believe me?
Molly, please let me handle this. Are you putting Mr. Kilpatrick under the same microscope?
His alibi can be corroborated.
By David Harrigan? Before you take his testimony at face value, look at his banking practices.
Yeah, well, look, we're not going to settle this today. Let's talk about chopping this bail in half.
Out of the question. Now, if you want to talk about a plea.
With what you've got?
Given her state of mind, we're willing to go to man one. That's a minimum of 8 years in prison, Mrs. Kilpatrick, instead of 25 if you're convicted of second-degree murder.
You'll get laughed out of the grand jury first. We're done here. Come on.
Heck of a lawyer. She's using us to grind Redfield's face into the ground.
If he committed fraud, it wouldn't be a waste of our time.
I don't like to be manipulated.
All of a sudden, you don't need Miss Atkins' testimony to convict her client.
6 months in Rikers for contempt will compel her testimony.
You hope.
Her client is guilty of murder. We're supposed to let her off with 3 years and help her gouge her husband for alimony?
You'll get over it.
We've opened an investigation into Messrs. Redfield and Kilpatrick, and we'll make a sentence recommendation for Mrs. Kilpatrick.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Didn't Mr. Barron's explain it to you?
Yes, but I didn't kill Dr. Burke.
Molly, it's best we just listen for now.
You're up, Miss Atkins.
I'm sorry, Molly. They're forcing me to do this. You have to understand that Molly was driven to it by her husband, by his lawyer's unconscionable tactics. If it weren't for them, she wouldn't be on medication. She wouldn't be here. When she came to my office on Tuesday, she was beside herself. She was fixated on the annulment. She felt that the church and Dr. Burke in particular were aligned against her. She said, I'll kill her if that's what it takes to change her mind.
No, Sheila, why are you telling them this?
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say that. I
taking a lot of pills. You didn't know what you were saying. I never thought you'd go through with it.
No. It can't be true.
And joining the Catholic Church, I thought it was a non-starter.
First Amendment separation of church and state. I'm surprised Judge Coffer even scheduled a hearing.
You'll be more surprised to learn there's actual case law on this. Ms. Atkins wasn't completely out in left field.
Her petition had merit.
Her brief argued the annulment had civil repercussions, namely the illegitimacy of Ms. Kilpatrick's son, which can be held to be defaming and injurious to someone who's not a party to the ecclesiastic proceedings. She even quoted Blackstone.
How did Judge Coffer rule?
If Ms. Atkins hadn't withdrawn her petition, I could tell you.
When did she do that?
The day before the hearing.
Son of a bitch. She withdrew her petition right after the murder because it was moot. Because she knew Burke's evaluation had been destroyed. Because she did it. She knew the annulment would be stalled.
Maybe she knew because Molly Kilpatrick told her.
Then why didn't Atkins tell us? She killed Burke, Jamie. That whole business with the ethics committee. We were conned. She framed her own client.
She withdrew a petition 2 days after a killing. It's not much to hang a murder charge on.
She talked an innocent woman into 3 years in jail. Maybe she'll talk herself into 25 to life.
Your client's going to prison and you're doing a victory dance.
Why shouldn't I? I earn my fees in divorce court. Criminal law is not my bag. So, do we have a deal?
I tell you what, Sheila, I like everything about it except the $1.5 million. Let me propose another figure. 0.
What the hell are you talking about?
I found this in my file. Your petition for an injunction against the Archdiocese. It looks so promising. I called Judge Coffer's clerk to find out what happened to it. Imagine my surprise when I was told that you withdrew it 2 days after Burke was killed.
Of course. Without her report, the annulment is dead in its tracks.
Nobody knew the report was erased, except the person who erased it. That would be you, Sheila.
Did somebody put drugs in your protein shake?
Fine. I'll just walk this over to One Hogan Place and see what McCoy makes out of it. Or you get your client to consent to the annulment for no money, and you withdraw the fraud complaint.
Bastard. I had you beat.
In your dreams. I beat you on child support, on visitation.
One extra dinner a month. Kilpatrick had to double her clothing
I was
allowance.
planning to do that anyway. You just can't stand to lose.
And you know exactly how to lose. You're an expert at it.
You're worse than my kids.
You're going to get a crash course in losing, because you're going to prison for murder. I'm taking this to McCoy.
All right, you win. You'll have her consent tomorrow. Just don't do anything stupid. Please.
Miss Atkins?
What is this?
Turn around.
What are you doing?
You're under arrest for murder.
Better start making criminal law your bag, Ms. Atkins.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't hurt.
I practically begged Dr. Burke to reconsider her evaluation, even just to delay it for a few weeks. And she refused. I was furious. After 2.5 years, to think that I could lose. And we struggled, and I stabbed her with a pair of scissors, and then I erased the report from her computer.
And your statements to the district attorney regarding Miss Kilpatrick?
I lied. And I apologized to her. She trusted me with everything. She gave me a free hand in how I handled her divorce. I tried to defend her rights. I'm sorry.
You killed my wife to win a divorce case, and you're sorry!